Most logos aren't bad because they're ugly. They're bad because they fail at one of these 5 tests. Either they're too complicated, they're too trendy, they're badly spaced out, they're overloaded with different colors, or the concept is weak, so the execution just feels off. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to spot each one of these things and how to avoid them so that your brand does not look amateur. So let's get into it. So mistake number one that I see is that the logo and the concept is too complicated. It's overloaded with different shapes and there's just too much complexity in there so that it just confuses the audience and they don't know what they're looking at. So for a logo to be successful, it needs to be simple and it needs to be done in the most minimal way possible without just overcrowding it. The reason for this is because you want your logo to stick to the viewer's mind so that they remember it. Because if they're thinking of your logo and the design that they see, then they're thinking about you. But if it's too complicated and too hard to understand it, then you're less likely to be in their mind and even thinking about your brand. This is the first mistake that I see, is overcrowding the logo with different shapes and different styles, trying to avoid this at all costs so that the viewer comes in and understands you right away. Simplify it so that there is nothing else to be taken away from the logo and still hold its meaning. You can see these two examples on the right. One is just different shapes just piled on each other. The other one is a abstract, really famous logo, and it's really simple and easy to remember. And even a 3 or 4-year-old can draw it from memory, looking at it just a few seconds. So keep this in mind when you're designing. Make sure it's simple and you don't overcomplicate it with different shapes on top of each other. Moving on. Mistake number 2 I see is chasing a trend. So you look at the market, what's trending at the moment, what current styles everyone's doing, and then chasing that trend. The reason why this fails is because trends come and go. And when they are hot today, they might not be still trendy like 6 months or a year from now. And that means you have to chase another trend and then keep up with the trends as they change over time. And this will be really difficult to keep up as a brand because constantly you're changing styles and then you're not sticking to one direction. So you're giving mixed messages to your audience. So then you lose trust in the process. So make sure you pick a style and you stick to it. This builds trust over time. For example, the Coca-Cola logo has been exactly the same logo and untouched over 100 years. And this builds trust and this builds a indestructible kind of branding that you want to aim towards as well. So don't chase a trend, have something that works and stick to it. Mistake number 3 is bad spacing. And this is one of those things that is easily avoided, but it's one of those mistakes that could be made without even realizing. So letters jammed together or drifting apart make a brand look careless. And the whole point of this exercise is to make sure that the letters are all kerned properly and that when someone looks at it, they don't notice anything. It's supposed to be read really smoothly and everything needs to fit together well. So if you're looking at it and you see like a uneven spacing or anything like that, then the kerning is off and it's a bad kern text and typeface. So make sure you kern everything by eye and make sure it's right before you go ahead and publish the logo. So the rule here is kern every word marked by eye. Spacing is what separates the pros from the amateurs. So make sure you keep this in mind for design. Mistake number 4 is too many colors. So a rainbow color has no single color to own. So most successful brands own 1 or 2 colors and they stick by this. And you need to keep this in mind when you're designing yours. Just think of McDonald's, for example, they have red and yellow. Or think of Coca-Cola, it's red. Think of Apple, which is black and white. And these brands have stuck to this color code and you remember them by those colors and by those shades. Look at this Starbucks green. And they own these colors and you need to stick to one color because just changing colors every few weeks or few months or few years will just confuse your audience. You want to stick to one direction for as long as possible so that they remember you by the colors, by the style, and you just stay consistent for as long as you can. Because this is what makes you stand out and this is what makes you memorable in the long run. So keep this in mind. Mistake number 5 is the concept is weak and there's no real idea behind it. So they don't do the homework and the research beforehand before they go and start sketching the idea. So then they just come up with some cliche ideas and some weak designs that are just either overplayed or too complicated or just doesn't work. So to avoid this, you need to make sure you look at the competitors, the research, what you stand for, or what the person that's trying to make this brand stands for, what they value, and make sure that it fits with the brand and the designs that you will come up with. Because if it doesn't, then you're just confusing and giving mixed messages and signals. And most likely the logo won't be strong enough to make it from the rest of the competition. make sure you take that extra time when you think about the direction that you want to pursue. You do the research and execution, and then you play around with as many ideas and concepts as possible to pick out the strongest one. Because if you don't do this, then the logo is going to fall short and it's going to feel weak and it won't last in the long run. So keep this in mind. And if you want a brand that just looks right, click the first link in the description down below to book a 30-minute free consultation call with myself, and I'll be happy to help you in any way I can. Thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much.